We're out here about ready to put on a 6-strand breakout kit, or fan out kit as they're called. And I just opened up the polyethylene sheath of this PE89 type outside plant cable. Right now I want to take off these grouping strings. So I just unwrapped the 2 at a time all the way to the top here. And I find my handy dandy snips. Cut those free. I've got a few more. One of the things that work out real well is these things just fly right off pretty fast. And I just cut them up here on the head. There's no Kevlar in these, or not in this particular one. Now if you take a look at these tubes here, I've got a white one, which is actually a solid piece of fiberglass rod. It's called the central strength member. And then I have these other black tubes. These are filler tubes that make the cable round in case like Tony wants to run over the cable or something in his golf cart on accident. And keeps the fiber from breaking or crushing. The blue buffer tube itself is what holds 6 of these 250 micron fiber optic strands. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut these filler tubes free up top here. And we're going to leave about 6 inches of fiberglass strength member to tether down to inside the LIU, or light interface unit. So we'll go ahead and cut that as so. And next thing, if we take a look at this, what's called a fan out kit. This one's made by Corning. It's BT25-06 is the standard part number. And this particular buffer tube furcation kit, because it's thickening up the walls of the 250 micron. We've got to know where to strip the buffer tube. So this is 25-inch length. And we want the strands of glass coming out just right there. So here's the head or the body. And what we can do on this is simply go ahead and lightly scribe it with our utility blade. This is a Teflon tube. I'm just very lightly scribing the outside. I'm not applying any pressure. And I break it, I pull it open. Now usually this is a gel filled. I do fill a little bit of some kind of dry silica type solution. So I want to go ahead and clean that off. Let me get my cleaning solution here. In this case I'm using Goo Gone. It's a citrus base cleaner, and it cleans off any residue that may be left on these small strands of glass. Let me find my cleaning rag. I don't have one. I'm in the field, so sometimes you got to use what you got to use. So I'm going to use my shirt in this case. I just need a clean linen. I wipe all the strands down. And I keep cleaning them. You notice they're starting to separate here statically. That causes an immediate drying action. And it guarantees me that all my strands of glass are totally clean. There you go. There's all 6 of them. They're just floating, they're repelling away from each other like charges. Now I want to use a dry lubricant. In this case I'm just going to use some non-scented baby powder. Just a little dab will do you. The custodians still need to come in and clean up, so I'm not afraid to get a little bit of this on the ground. Pick up my buffer tube and try and zoom in on this. You can see the colors of the tubes match on the ends here. And also if we look over here on the strands of glass, like this one in particular is white. So obviously white's going to go, or this is gray. Slate and white are very close. So I'm going to line this up, push it in my tube. Now, a lot of techs will go one strand all the way down, all the way up. I don't like to do that because these are very delicate. If there is any gummy residue left on the ends here, as I'm pushing it through and I'm it's going to snag and bend right here. You see that? It's going to break the strand of glass. So if I do all 6 at the same time, it's now effectively 6 times stronger and, let's face it, 6 times faster. Same thing would apply with the 12 strand. Just get it in an inch or so. Grab my next strand, which is white, and I hold it as close to the end as I can for greatest control. Get it started. 2 strands remaining. In this case, I have a brown. And I have my orange. Go in the slot, right, the only one left. And I take all 6 at the same time. I very lightly, you notice how they're uneven here. So I'm just going to use light pressure. I'm going to keep repeating it until they all tighten up evenly. Now they're all even, I can push them all at the same time. All the way through, all the way up. This is just thickening the actual strand from 250 micron to 900. What that does, it allows you to have a bigger bend radius. You don't have to worry so much about attenuation and losses. Now I'm going to hold it up to here. What I don't want to see is a bunch of twisting in here. That causes higher attenuations on the glass. You want them nice and even, straight coming out of the tube. And I'm going to grab my shell or my body pieces. It's bifurcated. Notice one side has a crimp sleeve in it for the buffer tube and a housing space cut out for the body of the fan out kit. Snaps into place. Buffer tube slides back down. I can grab either needle nose pliers, a pair of dikes. I like to use my snips, and I just lightly crimp these rings onto the buffer tube. Give it a tug test. It's not going anywhere. This piece lines up and snaps on. This is a Corning product. Now let's get this